Hello learners, welcome back. Today we have another question on financial ratios that reads, the following information was obtained from Mogadishu traders for the year ended 31st December 2022. So we have two columns, the details column and the money columns. So the first item you're given is opening stock 40,000, purchases 400,000, gross profit 100,000. And we have additional information there. Goods were sold at a markup of 25%. And learners, we are required to calculate the sales for the year and the rate of a stock turnover. So how do you go about this question? So you start from what you're given. You start from known to unknown. First and foremost, we start with solution. We are supposed to calculate the sales, and sales are given by cost of goods sold or cost of sales and add a gross profit. Now, from what we have here, we do not have the cost of goods sold, but we have the gross profit. Now, how do we arrive at the cost of goods sold? Learners, that is what I was saying, that we move from known to unknown. And clearly looking at our question, we are given the markup. Remember, we said that markup is equals to gross profit divided by the cost of goods sold. So therefore, we have here, we can just do it here, that markup is equals to 25% is the same as 25 divided by 100. Simplifying that, this gives us by 25 1, by 25 4. So this gives us a quarter. And we said that markup is equals to gross profit divided by the cost of goods sold, or rather the cost of sales. So learners, we have markup, which is a quarter, is equals to the gross profit you're given as 100,000, and we do not have the cost of sales, or rather the cost of goods sold. So at this juncture, we cross multiply such that we have 1 by cost of goods sold. This gives us the cost of goods sold, or mathematically we can say we make the cost of goods sold the subject. So therefore we move on. We have, this gives us 4 times 100,000, and learners, we arrive at 400,000 as our cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. So therefore we can go directly to get the sales figure. So we have 400,000 plus a gross profit you are given up there as 100,000, and learners, clearly we are getting sales as 500,000. Yes, that is it. Now learners, there is also another method, another alternative, yes, where you can get the sales figure directly. I think we can have it here. Another alternative method is we have the markup as a quarter, so we can come directly and get our margin. So margin, we say it is given by gross profit divided by the sales. But what are sales? Sales are cost of goods sold plus gross profit. And this is exactly what we have here. 1 is representing gross profit and 4 is representing cost of goods sold. Therefore, learners, our margin will be gross profit is represented by 1 and the sales we are saying is cost of goods sold, which is 4, plus gross profit, which is 1, to give us 1/5 as our margin. So therefore, we can use the margin figure here to calculate our sales, because we are saying that margin is given by gross profit divided by the sales. So in other words, we have our margin as 1/5 is equals to gross profit, which is 100,000, divided by sales. So we make sales the subject, and therefore we have that sales is equals to 5 multiplied by 100,000, 5 multiplied by 100,000 to give us a total of 500,000. And therefore, learners, we are arriving at the same figure. So either way, whichever method you decide to use, you're supposed to arrive at the same figure. On to our next question. We are supposed to get the rate of stock turnover. The rate of stock turnover. And the rate of stock turnover is given by the cost of goods sold divided by the average stock. And now we said that average stock is given by opening stock plus the closing stock, and everything is divided by 2. So moving forward, now from the question, we are given the opening stock as 40,000, but we do not have the closing stock. Therefore, how are we supposed to arrive at the closing stock? Now, learners, if you recall very well, when you're preparing a trading account, we have opening stock. I can try to demonstrate here that when we are preparing a trading account, we usually have opening stock figure. We add the purchases figure, yes, to arrive as cost of goods available for sale. And from this figure, we subtract the closing stock figure. Yes, we subtract the closing stock figure to arrive at the cost of goods available. No, the cost of goods sold, the cost of sales. The cost of a sale. So from this learners, that's where you are supposed to come up with an equation of finding the closing stock, because we usually say that closing stock is given by opening stock plus purchases minus cost of goods sold, or other one's cost of sales. So how do we arrive at this equation? Learners, we just move upwards. So we have the opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock clearly is giving us the cost of goods sold. So making the opening stock the subject, we have that opening stock plus purchases minus the cost of goods sold gives us the opening stock. Yeah, so this is the analogy that you're supposed to use. So we move forward. We have our opening stock. We are given up there as 40,000. We're given 40,000. Then our purchases, we are given as 400,000. And the cost of goods sold, we calculated and arrived at 400,000. 400,000. So this gives us 40,000 as our closing stock. And therefore, our average stock is equals to opening stock, which is 40,000, plus closing stock, which is also 40,000, divided by 2 and this gives us a total of 40,000. Therefore, the rate of stock turnover is will be our cost of goods sold, cost of sales, which is 400,000 divided by 40,000, and this is giving us, so this gives us 10 times, and therefore our rate of stock turnover is 10 times. So that is how you're supposed to have gone through this question. Yeah, so we have our question there. That's the working. Yeah. So as I was saying, it's good to familiarize with all the ratios to be able to tackle this type of a question. Bye for now. See you in our next lesson.